you'll get a job. Guaranteed. Well, isn't that something? More on that later in this video. I'm currently building an online course for people wanting to learn UX. In the previous video, I created a rough problem map in order to get some starting points. In today's video, I want to dive into one of the open points that we discovered in the last video. We need to do some market research. On what? Well, looking at the problem map, we had the following open points. How to find the right course for someone wanting to learn UX. What is the problem with existing UX courses and content? And what format to use for teaching? On a side note, this week I tried to do a very quick and rough market research. This is not a comprehensive research, just something to get me started. Unfortunately, at some point I got sidetracked along the way, going down the rabbit hole and thereby not focusing on the main question. Losing track happens, and it's nothing to worry about if you manage to get back on track. Let's start at the beginning. What did I do this week? Well, I started with a Google search for Learn UX Online and on Reddit, UX Course Online. In the next step, I just opened up the first few sites that were shown to me. I preferred lists as I wanted to have a quick collection of things to look into. Then I fired up Microsoft Excel. Wait a minute. Excel? Remember when I told you this is going to be ugly and how I wouldn't try to polish things to look pretty? Just giving you some real insights into the process. Being a UX designer is not only about design tools. A lot of the times you also need to make presentations and evaluations. Well, anyway, here we go. So I opened up Excel and just threw in whatever I could find. In the first row of each column, I added the source, and right below I just put the links to the individual sites referenced in the articles I found. A few familiar sites popped up during the collection phase and also a few big names. For example, IBM or Envision. And I made a mental note to myself to actually look into them as well, no matter how often they would show up, as I was just curious. As I didn't want to look through everything by hand, I just made Excel count a few names I already knew or I saw coming up more often. On a side note, this is a rough research, a starting point. I could have made this into a fancy graphic and thereby hiding the way I did it. And then present it as super fancy research, but I won't do this. If you have to do a stakeholder presentation, then you might want to make sure to polish this up to sell it. But let's be honest here, this is how it is done in a lot of cases. At some point into the series, I do a fancy presentation, but for now, let's just keep it real. So let's take a quick look at the numbers. I opened up about 34 sites, which had in total about 100 links. I used Excel's COUNTIF function to look through all entries and, for example, count if in any sale came up the word hack design, Envision, Linda or Skillshare. In the end, I had a list of about 18 sites. In my quick search, the following sites came up a few times. 10 times Coursera, Interaction Design and Udemy, followed by 4 times Hack Design, Envision, Linda and Skillshare. Linda actually is now LinkedIn Learning and a few other sites that I kinda ignored apart from IBM, Udacity and Career Foundry. Everything that just came up about 1 to 3 times, I wouldn't look into for now unless one of the names already was familiar to me. That's biased, sure, but will do for the beginning. Next step, I visited a few of these sites and I got lost. Again, this happens. You start to do research and all of a sudden you end up researching something that shouldn't be your focus right now. And this doesn't always have to be bad. It might give you some other insights you could utilize later. So this is what I learned going down that road. You get a job, guaranteed. Some of these services are giving you a job guarantee and you'll get your money back if that does not happen. That's a great selling point and it got me hooked. It makes sense. A lot of people trying to break into the design, UX or product creation field, and the best promise you can give them is the promise of a job. And thereby giving the impression that the content you'll learn must be great because it gets you a job. The truth about the job guarantee, the devil is in the details. Let's read some of the terms of services. In order to get access to that sweet guarantee, you need to complete 100% of the program with all achievements, including the approval by the mentor. Fluency in English and the local language. This only counts for cities within the list of approved cities. These cities need a population above 200,000 people and must be in the following countries: USA, Canada, EU, UK, Australia, New Zealand. You need to have your online profiles updated. You need to update your CV and have it approved by a specialist. You need to create 3 portfolio projects and publish them online. At least 5 job applications per week for 6 months. That's how long the job application period is. Opt into their email newsletters and be a member of their Slack community. Don't get me wrong here. These are all valid points and they might actually help you get a job. With all these terms, they make sure that you put in the work to actually get on your feet and do the work. But putting job guarantee on there at first sounded too good to be true. Like, you'll be an expert after doing our courses and that will guarantee you a job. Actually, they just kick you in the butt to make sure you do the work it takes to create chances and opportunities to eventually find a job. Although, you don't have to like the job you get. You're not allowed to turn down any job offer. A few other sites have this guarantee as well. Maybe I should put this guarantee on the series as well? I mean, I'm showing you a problem-solving method here that you actually could apply to anything, even the job hunt. And if you put in the work, creating your portfolio, updating your CV, check all the job positions and apply to everything, no matter what, you'll eventually land a job. This just goes to show that the job guarantee comes with a few strings attached. And as long as it treats the job hunt like a job itself, you might eventually have the right amount of luck. Back to the research. Once I got back on track, I tried to find out more about the courses, and that wasn't as easy as I thought it would be. The field of online education is quite valuable, and in order to lure people in, they all create quite a bit of marketing around the courses. But most of the sites required you to sign in to get an actual look at the courses themselves and at the content. So I started creating free trial accounts where possible, and I was quite disappointed. Because the free trial was almost always attached to free strings. They immediately wanted my payment information. This is not a great user experience. If I forget to cancel early enough, I'll be out a few $100, and some of them even require a phone call with some coach for me to actually be able to opt out and get out of the course and get my money back. It seems they really want you to learn something, or at least leave your money with them. Researching these lists of best online UX courses, I also came across a few posts regarding the problems with online courses, and I made sure to collect them in another Excel sheet. And going through the lists, I noticed something else that might help me with the question regarding the format of these videos or of online courses. The list we previously collected didn't just include online courses, it also included platforms providing the opportunity for everyone to create and sell their own course. So I created another Excel sheet for them. We've now collected quite a few things, and now it's time to look at our research questions again. How to find the right course? Well, I still can't answer this question. What I can tell you is this. It seems to be quite hard to find the right course. You find free resources or programs that cost more than $10,000. The user has to navigate a jungle of options and marketing, big names, job guarantees, great looking websites, claims, clickbait, and buzzwords about UI, UX, and the user. Phew. What now? Well, I went over the list we created earlier and decided that I might have to look a bit deeper. I reduced the selection to just a few. I picked Coursera, although it's just a platform and not an individual course. It has a few big universities on there and that sounded somewhat trustworthy. Lynda has been a name for online education for a long time. Now it's called LinkedIn Learning. And as I already have a LinkedIn account, the sign-up process was just too easy. But again, everyone seems to be able to create a course on here. Skillshare seemed to have a great intro course to UX, which is taught by someone from Google. Why not? But again, a platform where anyone can create a course. And finally, Udacity. Although it only came up once, I remember the platform from a course I took years ago, and it seemed quite modern from a technological point of view. And not everyone can create a course on here, so this is an actually tailored course to their platform. For now, it does not bother me that I mostly pick platforms, because it still comes down to the individual creator, and the platforms are just the tool they utilize. That's how far I came regarding this question, how to find the right course. The takeaway is, again, it's not easy, and a lot of people try to catch your attention. I assume in order to successfully get a student's attention, it's a mix of marketing, transparency, price, big names, promises, and also a well thought out program including feedback, assignments, and direct contact, or some sort of tutoring. But again, all wrapped into a nice marketing package tailored to the target group. That's a lot. How to beat that as an individual like myself? I guess I need to polish up my marketing skills a bit in the future, or be as transparent as possible in order to help people decide. The content is quite important, and maybe that more than one course is necessary depending on each one's current problem. For example, how to create a portfolio, how to find a job, how to learn for UX, and what is important, what needs to be understood. UX at work versus UX theory and pretty pictures. That's something to solve later. Now on to the next topic. What is the problem with existing content? During the research, I came across a few posts, and the few points I found regarding the problems were: are the courses worth the money? The price ranges from free to thousands of dollars or subscriptions, and it's unclear if they're even worth it. Huge terms of services, scaring people away, as the course providers might be more interested in your money than into actually turning you into a professional problem solver. A lot of the courses are targeted at beginners. It's hard to find anything advanced actually. And some of the courses are too abstract or never leave the theoretical concept bubble. So they paint a pretty picture, but don't show the way to actually get there in real life. Because if you find yourself working at a company and you want to bring in a new method that's supposed to solve all problems, it's usually quite hard to convince everyone involved to follow along, and the actual hard work you have to put into bringing it to life is often overlooked and in the courses. Enough for now. These first insights help me with the targeting of creating a course. Another point is trying not to scare people away with long terms of services and huge amounts of money to be paid up front. Maybe offer a free part for people to see what they get into before they have to provide billing details. There's a lot of stuff out there that's targeted at beginners. Maybe I should diversify my content more in the direction of people already having some experience, like real examples from work and the constraints you usually have to deal with. This would also solve the knowledge transfer from too abstract theoretical knowledge to more practical applications. Again, that's also the reason for this series. I'm trying to replicate a process as realistic as possible. And finally, about the question, what format to use? Finally, this was what I was waiting for. I really enjoy wireframing, sketching, prototyping, and ideating in general. And the format of the course is where things start to take shape. In this series, you'll follow me along the steps I take to create a course for people wanting to learn UX. And following me along should already give you quite a few insights and ideas how everything works. These videos on YouTube currently are already the format I use, and thereby they're part of the whole. But things need to improve, and in the next video I'll go into researching the formats. I registered with a few of these courses out there, and I want to go through them and find out how things are usually structured, or for lack of a better word, what building blocks they use for the online courses. As this video is already getting way too long, I'll finish it off with a short recap of what happened and what's coming up next. For this video, I did a quick search on Google and Reddit about online UX courses. Next, I gathered a set of links and recommendations I could find in the results and put them into an Excel sheet. I also gathered posts I found alongside the search regarding the problems and the formats. Then I did a quick analysis of what courses seem to be recommended more often and what sounded interesting to me. And I went onto these sites and finally shortened the list after a quick research about a few of these sites. From that, I created a few assumptions about the problems people looking for courses might have. And I made a few conclusions what seems to be important. These things should be tested at some point. And now, as a next step, I'll analyze the format most of these courses seem to follow in order to start the ideation process about what could I create or use for this course I'm currently creating. Alright, please help me by liking, subscribing, commenting, and at this moment, the most important part is sharing this video. The more people following me hopefully means people like what I'm doing here, and the higher the incentive to keep on creating these videos for me. And as always, keep in mind that things will change. See you in the next one. Bye.